Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for a new Burda style video. Today we will be making the model 102 from the July 2022 issue of Burda Style. We'll learn how to sew this trendy summer dress with a full placket at the front. The dress also features a sweetheart neckline with decorative trim and discreet gathers at the waist. Plus, it is so easy to wear. The fabric we have selected is an environmentally friendly cotton and linen blend in this pretty dark pink color. You can find it on the website Atelier Brunette. When it comes to supplies, you will need interfacing and buttons in addition to your usual material. Pieces 21 to 29 and piece A are already cut, and the necessary notches have also been transferred. And I've added interfacing to pieces 21 to 26 and piece A according to the instructions in the magazine. I am using the Excellence 680 Plus sewing machine from Elna for the seams and the Elna Extend 864 Air overlocker for the edges. Now I start with the back and front of the bodice. For the outer front right piece, I stitch the front middle piece and the front side piece right sides together, starting from notch 2. Then I press the seam towards the center and top stitch it 7 millimeters from the edge. I do the same for the inner right front piece, but here I press the seam open. I then place the outer and inner middle front pieces on the front piece with the facing, right sides together, and start stitching at notch 1. I press the seam toward the center and top stitch it 7 millimeters from the edge. I stitch the seams for the front and middle back pieces starting at notch 4, press the seams of the outer back inward, and top stitch them at 7 millimeters from the edge. I do the same for the front left piece. Second step, the trim and the bodice. I place the two pieces of the right trim together, right sides together, and then do the same for the left pieces of trim. Now I stitch the top and bottom edges of the trim together. I clip the corner, turn the facing right side out, and press the seams. I pin the open edges of the trim to the top edge of the front piece, right sides together, starting from notch 3. Now I hold this and the side edges together by stitching with large stitches 1 centimeter from the edge. You can also baste here if you'd like. I then stitch the side seams of the outer front and back as well as those of the inner front and back. Now I press the seams open. Third step, the skirt and pockets. I neaten the side edges of the front skirt piece, the back skirt piece, the pockets, and the front facing. Then I pin the back and front skirt pieces together and stitch the side seams, leaving the pocket entrance open. I press the seams open and pin the pockets on the allowances of the side seams where the notches are. I stitch the pockets and press the seams. I stitch the pocket bottoms and neaten the allowances together. I then stitch 2 gathering threads between the notches on the top edge of the skirt. I will gather these later. Now I pin the outer bodice to the skirt at the side seams and the middle front piece. I gather the back and front of the skirt so it is the same width as the bodice. Then I tie the threads and distribute the gathers evenly. I then stitch the skirt to the outer bodice and press the seam up. I also press the facing inward. Step 4, the straps. I fold the straps in half and stitch the long edge. I turn the straps right side out, press them, and pin one end of the straps to the top edge of the front with the trim in between the notches. Step 5, the bodice. I place the inner front on the outer front, right sides together. I pin the top edges and stitch while holding on to the strap and trim. I trim the allowance, press the seam, and top stitch the inner bodice close to the seam. I press the allowances of the inner bodice's bottom edge towards the wrong side and pin or baste this edge to the skirt seam. Then I stitch it to the right side in the groove of the seam. Last step, the hem, the straps, the buttons, and the buttonholes. I fold the skirt facing on the right side at the fold line and stitch along the hemline. I neaten the hem and turn the facing towards the inside. Now I press the allowances to the wrong side and stitch. I make the buttonholes on the right front, making sure they correspond to the button's diameter and are perpendicular to the middle. Then I sew the buttons on the left front. After I try the dress on for size, I stitch the strap to the back in between the notches. And now this pretty dress is finished and ready for summer. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date with all Burda news, and don't hesitate to follow us on our social media. Burda Style thanks and recommends its sewing machine partner, Elna. Thank you for following us, and see you soon with a new Burda model to sew.